Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kectil Born to Lead campaign, where we are collecting the voices of the brightest leaders within the Kectil program and then talking with them about their journey to leadership. Today, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our next guest, who is from Afghanistan, a remarkable individual who embodies the qualities of resilience, leadership, and commitment to service, Syed Hesam Mosavi. So Syed is an MBBS student currently pursuing his medical journey to become a surgeon at Pakistan with the Allama Muhammad Iqbal Scholarship. And if you look at his record beyond the medicine, he has also been very active in the field of environmental health as well as the human health as well. So we're going to learn more about him, his leadership in the field, and then what is his visions for the future. So his dream is to return to the front lines of healthcare in Afghanistan to become as a medical doctor. And then he is very dedicated to rebuilding and improving the healthcare systems in Afghanistan, specifically for vulnerable and underserved population. So Sayed, welcome. Thank you very much for your time. So we're going to just jump right into the interview. So tell us why medical field? Why do you want to become a doctor? Why do you choose healthcare?
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for your invitation. I'm so glad to be a part of this program. The story behind my journey for becoming a doctor is a very, very long story and also somehow personal and very long story. So when I was very small child, for about 4 years ago or 3 years ago, I was facing a very hard disease called asthma. So the asthma disease made me to be at the point of hospital and also healthcare system places a lot. It means out of 7 days a week, maybe I met a doctor 3 times a week or 4 times a week because my situation was so severe. So from that times, I think the hospital environment affected me and made me to think that yeah, I want to become a doctor because that time I saw that these healthcare system workers, doctors, nurses, and all the part of healthcare system is trying to recover me. The me who had a very bad situation at that times. So it was, we can say that the first and the initiate um, energy which made me to become a doctor, and I started my dream of being a doctor since that time. So as the time passed, lots of other things happened, personal stories to me that made me to be more dedicated and more strong to my goal. I can point to one of the most important of them, and that is my father passed away. It was about 3 years ago that my father had an stroke, and unfortunately, half of his body was paralyzed completely. So, about 6 months taking care of him and responsibility of taking him to the doctor, and all of his works was on me. So on that time, again, I understood how important it is to take care of others and to make them feel better, and also trying to cure their problem and make life easy for them. So I can say that these two significant points was the general and the most important parts of my life, which made me to become a doctor and step toward this journey. And yeah, it was a short summary of that.
Yep, yeah, thank you very much for answering the questions and thanks for being vulnerable to share your story and then
Thank
to
you.
share the story of your father. Um, so that's a one part of being a leader, right? Being resilient and then seeing the
Yes,
problems and then deciding to take initiative to that because you want to make change. Um, so you were in the healthcare system in Afghanistan. You see some flaws with it. You were in the healthcare system with your father. You see some flaws in it. So if you
exactly.
could give us a couple of examples of, what are the things that need to be fixed right now in the healthcare system in Afghanistan that you are seeing, so that people have a picture of, an understanding as well.
So yeah, when we're talking about the Afghanistan, we have to consider that the Afghanistan situation is something very, very complex. Other countries are also complex, their politics, their economic, everything. But Afghanistan is something else because you have to study very, very deep layers of this country, layers of region, layers of religious layers and political and everything. They're combined to make a country like Afghanistan. When you're seeing the healthcare system in Afghanistan, there's lots of flaws and problems in this system. When I was with my father, 6 months, he was under the care of the doctors, and he went and come back to hospital continuously. So one of the first thing that when you are looking to the Afghanistan healthcare system is that we are facing with extreme shortage of the specialist doctors. I can say that very, very easy that we have very, very few specialist doctors that they can understand the problem and they can solve it properly. We have a lot of doctor, maybe. We have a lot of medical students in Afghanistan, maybe. But we don't have a good and a great doctor in Afghanistan that much, which is needed. And this problem is very, very obvious when you go to the governmental hospitals. In Afghanistan, there are governmental and private hospitals. So private hospitals, they refer you somehow better services because you're paying. But when you're going to the governmental hospital, they are somehow free and affordable for the people with the low economical level. You can see the real problem. Maybe in a very big ward of about 1,000 patients, there are just 3 or 4 specialist doctors. I was at the ward of internal medicine at the Herat regional hospital. So the thing that I saw there was very, very trouble. There was about 3 or 4 dead crops every day going out from that ward because the leakage of the doctors. And not just the doctors, the nurses and the whole system is facing with a very, very severe shortage of doctors and service givers. This is one part, and the other part is the less participant of the woman. Since the Taliban came back to Afghanistan, the women's somehow dropped from everything in Afghanistan. And when you come to the healthcare system, it is very obvious and is very dangerous. Most of the patients in Afghanistan are children and a woman, as you consider, because they are the most vulnerable parts of the Afghanistan community. So when you do not have woman doctor, woman nurse, so you will face a very big problem, and we can see that the effect of it at the healthcare system of Afghanistan. We can say that this is the one flow, which is very considerable, and the other one is the leakage of constructions. Although we do not have doctors, if we have a specialist doctor, we don't have the constructions needed for the treatment and the way that the doctor want to treat the people. We do not have any cancer department in that big hospital. Herat is, we can say that the second biggest city of Afghanistan. It doesn't have any cancer department. So consider that how awful it is, the constructions. And most of the people, because the leakage of construction and also shortage of specialist doctors, they're forced to travel to other countries like Iran, like Pakistan, or if they can afford it, they can travel to the India and the Turkey and countries like this. uh, in the case of my father, at the first we wanted to take our father to the Iran because we thought that this system cannot heal him and treat him properly. But because other problems like the visa and the border and these problems like this, we couldn't take him to the Iran. So you can say that the treatment in outside the country is a very, very um, important choice for every patient in Afghanistan because the leakage of these two.
Mhm. Yeah, no, thank you very much for that answer. It's very thorough answer. I hear four different things that you mentioned. The first one about the shortages of professional doctors, right? The specialists that aren't
Yeah.
there. So you are on the track to become one. So probably, hopefully, a lot of young people from Afghan start to take start to see the need and then start to take the trainings of the systems, and then we'll be able to produce more professional specialists who actually go back to Afghanistan and help people. That'll be the dream, right? So I want to touch a bit more on the
Yeah,
second point that you mentioned about female participation in the healthcare system. And then that is in considerations of, female doctors not being in the hospital, as well as how that
yeah,
affects for the female patients. If I'm understanding correctly, in
yes,
Afghanistan, with the Taliban and all that, the Islamic rules is that female patients can be only seen for the most of the time by a female doctor, right? Or if they are supposed to be
exactly.
seen
Yeah,
by the male doctors, they need to follow certain rules. So not having enough
exactly.
female doctors, and then there are a lot of restrictions around female and children patients being seen by the male doctors. So what are the complexity that creates that? And I want to learn more about that as well, if you don't mind explaining. And then how are the female population, basically, if they got sick, what are they doing? Do they have access to go to hospital? Can they go to clinics? What's going on with them? Because that's half of the population that we are talking
Exactly.
about. Yeah. Mhm.
When we're talking about Afghanistan, this quote is very common that they say that the women are half of the community and half of the country. But in Afghanistan, it is something more. We can say that women are 70% of the community. I'm not talking about the population. I'm talking about their effects on the community. Most of the Afghan families are somehow that woman has a very, very specific role inside the family, from the growing up the children to baking the food, propping the house and clothing and everything. And beyond these things, in some particular cases, women forced to also work for providing extra and helping cash and money for the family, because the economic situation is something else also. So when we're talking about the woman, it is very hard for them. Actually, it is very, very hard for them. Shortage of the doctors is one problem, and as you said, mentioned, the restrictions that are done by the Taliban is another problem. If you have a specialist doctor, the Taliban force them to do this. You have to do that. You cannot cure this medicine. You cannot cure this patient. You have to wear this. You have to wear that. You have to manner properly the way that we want. It is not the Islam. It is not the religion that says things. It is the ideology of the Taliban which says that the woman should be under our rule of us and they should not be free. And I don't know why they are thinking like this, but anyway, it is. So when a woman gets sick in Afghanistan, we can say that getting sick is bad news. But when a woman gets sick, it is we can say that the triple news, because, as you say, that if the woman go to the hospital, they're facing with lots of districts. First of all, when you go to the hospital, you have to be separated from the man. You're a woman, you have to go to your own ward, and the men should go to their own ward. And publishing the facilities is not equal in these two wards. The women, they're getting less facilities and constructions than the men. It is the first problem. And when you wanted to see a doctor, because there is no woman doctor in most cases in lots of rural regions in Afghanistan, you cannot see a man doctor. So you have to suffer from the illness and problem that you have until a woman doctor found and treat you. And the other thing is the procedures. We have special medical procedures, for example, surgeries, for example, endoscopy, dialysis, and everything like this. In these cases, also, this separation between man and woman make a lot of problem and trouble for them. It is one side, and one other thing which I want to mention is that under the rule of Taliban, a woman can't only go out freely and be treated completely. Consider a family which do not have any man inside, or if they have, they are small, and Taliban do not consider them as a man; they consider them a child. So a woman, what should she do? What should she do for taking a proper treatment and service? So she cannot go to the hospital, because in most governmental hospitals, Taliban won't let women to get in lonely. So it is very big problem if you consider all these are. So you can see that the situation is much more harder for women in Afghanistan.
Mhm. Yeah, no, thank you very much for highlighting the system issues. I hope the people who are listening this interview understands the situations that a lot of people are going through in Afghanistan and then speaks out about that to help those people as well. So from the system issue, I want to turn a bit back to the personal issues. So I want to learn more about you, right? Because you're speaking right now. So I want to learn about what are the challenges that you're facing right now as an Afghan youth going out to Pakistan, studying medicine. Like, what is your journey has been like? How did you get out of Afghanistan? And how did you secure that scholarship? And then how did you plan in to continue studying and how did you plan to, if it's you want to go back to Afghanistan, or what's your plan in the future? So take us through your whole journey of so the other people, other young person, not only from Afghanistan, right, from the whole
Yeah.
world can get an inspiration. You were in a very difficult situation, and then you secure yourself a scholarship. You came out of that. You went abroad and you're studying. So take us through that journey so it can be an inspiration for all of us.
Okay, for sure. Thank you. The journey for becoming a doctor was very, very hard. Actually, I can say that my life is somehow a tragic story with lots of problems and going up and down. But I love these things because the thing that I learned from leadership is resisting, leadership is moving toward your goals, no matter what is you're facing, how big the peak is. You have to just continue. You have to be resist on your goals, and you have to tolerate everything that come on you and make a decision properly and solve it in a proper way. The story of becoming a doctor for me is like this. When I was in Afghanistan, every student in Afghanistan after graduating from school, they have to pass a very, very tough examination, which is called concours. Concours examination is a general examination conducted by the Ministry of Higher Education for letting students to get into the universities. And from the hardness of this exam, I have to tell you that you have to study 19 subjects within a year and going to the test center and solve 160 questions. So studying 19 books is very, very hard. And when you are conducting that test, it is not like that you test according to your specialty. For example, I want to be a doctor. It's not like this that the questions just came from chemistry, biology, and physics, subjects related to the medicine. Or if you want to become a computer engineer, the question is not, it's not like this that come from just mathematics, physics, and computer and things like this. If you want to become a doctor, if you want to become an engineer, a manager, whatever you want to be, you have to study all the subjects: geography, history, mathematics, everything. You have to just study everything and then pass uh, that examination. So I participated at concours examination, and I could secure my place into the dentistry school of Herat University. So it means that at the first I got admission to the dentistry and stomatology department of Herat University. I didn't accept it into the medicine field. So it was very good news and also a very bad news too. It was a very good news because I could pass the exam, but it was somehow bad news for me that I couldn't get my dream field, which is the MBBS, it means medicine. So I tried the alternative ways and I found the Allama Muhammad Iqbal Scholarship and I applied for this scholarship. After a very, very long process, the government, it is a governmental scholarship by the government of Pakistan, and governmental scholarships, they are very tough to get them, and also they have a very long procedure. It is about 1 year, approximately 1 year, that I am trying to get this scholarship and final my all 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 the things and to come here, and it's about 2 months that I am in Pakistan. So I didn't stop. I applied for this scholarship. I passed the interviews, the exams, and then I came to Pakistan. And there was a very, very big exam in Pakistan conducted for all the candidates shortlisted for this scholarship. And after this examination and reviewing your background and also your scores, they divided you in the fields. For example, you pass the test in Pakistan, and they see your scores and also your background, and they decide to send you to the which field, to engineering, to, for example, computer science, which. So I passed the test here, and by a lot of hard work, I could secure my place into the MBBS field at one of Pakistan's leading institute in the Sindh province of Pakistan. So it was very hard to be here and also get out of Afghanistan. But the things that I learned from this journey is that if you have a goal and the goal is important for you, you should not stop at any stage. The only point that I want to mention is that your goal is A plus. If you get A, you should not be satisfied with that. You have to try for that A plus. So dentistry was an A score for me. Was an A score for me. But my A plus score was not dentistry. I wanted to become a part of healthcare system, but I didn't want to become a dentist, stomatologist. So I wanted to become a doctor, a general doctor, and a surgeon. So the A plus was this. So I tried, and I didn't stop in Afghanistan. I tried more to find an alternative way. I could pass that test in Afghanistan again, but it was an alternative way also. So I tried to do whatever I can to achieve that A plus score.
Mhm. Could have said it better. If you really want it, go get it. I love that. I love that attitude. Thank you very much for sharing your story. Thank you very much for sharing the system issues within the healthcare field in Afghanistan. So my last questions for this episode, you have only one message that you can give to the young people in Afghanistan and all the young people watching this episode through Kectil. What is your message to them?
You know, whenever my friends is asking me, what is your attitude to life? The people who knows me from the near, when they know the story of my life, they say that how you can tolerate all these hardnesses and how you're laughing all the time. I can say just a sentence: made every situation funny and somehow cool and chill for you, even it is hard, even it is very tough, but try to make it happy and comfortable for yourself. You know, this is the life. There is no solution. You were born in Afghanistan, you were born in Europe, there is no different. Everybody's life has challenges. The point is how you're facing the challenges. So if you're facing a very big issue, if you say that, oh, it's a very big issue, what should I do? What should I don't? And things like this, you cannot solve it. But if you say, oh, this is the challenge. So I am going to make this challenge chill. I am going to make it fun. I am going to learn lots of important things out of this challenge. You should not be disappointed. You should not be upset about the problems came to you. That is right. There is times that we are sad. There is times that we are angry. We are happy. All of these are emotions. But you should not let the bad feelings, the sad feelings, and the disappointing to be victory on you. You have to defeat them. You have to show them that no problem, or whatever you want to do, how hardness you are going to bring on me, how pressure you are going to push on me. I am here, I am sad, I am happy, but out of all these, I am determined to my goal, and I am satisfied with the way that I am going, and I am trying to achieve it. I can say this. This.
Yep. Yeah, love that. That's such a great message. Find the fun and then
Thank
keep
you.
moving. Love that. Appreciate you, Sayed, for this episode. And to our listeners, I truly hope that you learned something important, something meaningful from this episode. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave comments. Or Sayed is a part of the Cactus program, so feel free to reach out to him through Cactus as well. I'm sure he'll be able to answer all of your questions that you have. I'll bring Syed back for the next episode for you, so hopefully you will listen to that as well. And then again, this is Ray with Born to Lead campaign from the Kectil program, where we are bringing brilliant youth leaders from across the world and sharing their story with you so you can learn from them. And I hope that you're doing that as well. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.